Tuperas y tuperas. Today on Dupe by the River, we're going to look back at that midweek match as the Philadelphia Union's dominance continues as they beat Atlanta United. And we're also going to be looking ahead. It is Red Bull weekend, ladies and gentlemen. The Union on a short week have to go face off against the Red Bull in North Jersey. We're going to break it all down. And don't you dare go anywhere because you do not want to miss this episode of Dupe by the River. Let's get started, guys. Dupe by the River
doesn't do anything well. There is not one.
I'm sorry. There was no creativity.
As a Union fan, I take that all day.
Another DP. We need to go get Mario Balotelli. And that is right. Welcome, everybody, to Dupe by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union. And, of course, we are brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we dive into today's episode, real quick, we want to thank everyone who's tuning on in live on the Barcelona Phillies YouTube channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more of your live viewings of Dupe by the River. And if you want to re-listen to this wherever you stream podcasts, we're available. Just find us under Dupe by the River Podcasts. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you today my expert in duping. We are joined by Justin Sherman's Salt March Freiberg. What is this? What's up, Justin? How we feeling, man?
Pretty good. Spent the day, combing through, the remnants of Twitter, at least, for the moments I did. And boy, howdy, there are some takes, and there are some people who claim to know soccer and don't know shit. And so it is great. And I absolutely want to talk about it. And it is great. There's a lot of great things to talk about that game. There's a lot of great things to talk about from last night. Boy, it's been a great 24 hours.
So you're telling me that one of the loudest South fan bases got loud again?
Yeah, but not in the right way. Kind of like how, the Falcons, blew a lead in Super Bowl. Kind of like that.
Oh, just don't bring up baseball, but we're good there. but listen, man, I love it. I absolutely love watching it because now we're on the good end of the stick, right? We're the ones that are the dominating ones. We are the ones that clinch a playoff spot. They're still in desperation mode, and I don't see how they can make the playoffs. But it was great. It was definitely great. We'll definitely get to that. But number one, Justin, I'm going to give you a couple minutes right now. All right. You or all of us should be thanking a club in this league in particular. And I think we should take a moment, Justin, to thank them. So on behalf of the rest of the city of Philadelphia, Houston, we love you. You are the best city in Texas. You guys are the founders of Texas soccer. What else do I add on here, Justin? Thank you for James Harden, I guess. You're part of it. What else do we throw in here? And by the way, thank you for beating LAFC.
Yeah, no, when I got home, thank God I was able to get home in time. I watched the last 25 minutes of the game because there were 12 fucking minutes of stoppage time, even though there was only supposed to be 8, even with the 2 yellow cards and the Darwin Zawin's red card. It was like, okay, the ref clearly lost, the control of it by the end. Should not have been an additional 4 minutes. That was absolutely ridiculous. But, man, LAFC looking real bad. And, I mean, all the results that could have gone in the Union's favor did. NYCFC lost to DC United. Montreal loses. Austin loses. All the results that didn't necessarily need to happen happened. The LAFC one was the only one you're like, okay, great, that happens. It's like, I kept saying, and a lot of people were, I'll call out Zach because Zach admittedly said on Tuesday, oh, there's no way it's Houston. They're not going to lose to Houston. I said, Houston or RSL is going to be a shocker. There are games, and the way LSU is playing, I mean, hell, the 2 of these 3 straight losses are against bottom basement dwelling team in the West. It is genuinely amazing that they have all that talent, all that money, and they are. There's no chemistry whatsoever. And at the end of the day, money can buy all the talent in the world, but at this point in the season, you're still buying talent. No, you have no time to gel. It's just a lot of like you can be talented, but a team like Houston that doesn't have nearly as much money, it's just gonna shithouse their way to a win, and they did. And that's what I love about this league. All the money in the world
How
doesn't
did
buy you
Fafa
a
look?
championship.
Did Fafa play?
Oh yeah, and Fafa, there were
Did he look good?
in the end when he was killing off time. He was running his ass off. He was
That's what we like to
shooting
hear.
them all in the corners. Fafa is still a he is Philly
I
through
love
and
him, man.
through with like that is one man I love no matter where he goes now because
Yeah.
he embodies everything it means just to run your ass off, especially in Houston where it's
It's
still hot
hot.
as fuck.
It's hot, boy. Yeah, it is really hot. I agree with you though, Justin. I mean, like it is tough. Like even in like you look at the major sports too. Like anytime these teams put together like the super team, like obviously you hear that term a lot in the NBA. Like it is very hard for all those guys. I mean, the Miami Heat didn't win the championship in their first year, so it's going to be a tough challenge for those guys to go through the playoffs. I don't feel like Austin's that team either though, just because I do feel like they have a lot of new pieces too, but it's going to really if they get there, their talent it has to like outshine anything else because they're going to go up against some teams that play some cohesive soccer to say the least. What's up, Zachary? We got Zachary here in the comment section. Get Paxton more playing time, dupers.
I
Well,
love
wait. Here's a question we need to ask, Justin. That's fine. So who do you put him in there for? That's the question. If you feel Paxton needs more playing time, who are you putting him in there for? Because I'm right there with you, Justin. I'm not taking Gastek out. I'm not taking an MVP candidate out. That'd be like putting B-ball Paul in for Joel Embiid. All right, like we're not there yet. Maybe Paxton's potential is better than B-ball Paul, but you get my picture.
Yeah, listen, I love Paxton. I love the kids, but if you are telling me that they should be playing over any of the front three, over Ali, even at this point, like I'm sorry, that's insane. I love that the kids are talented, but Gazdag is playing at an absolutely MVP level. You now have all three of your front three are double-digit goal scorers, which is for the first time in your existence you have three double-digit goal scorers. You are playing the best soccer you have been. The kids are providing great spark off the bench.
Yeah.
I think at this point that's what they're going to be for now. That is what it is. That's the nature of the game. I love the kids, but again, soccer's a business. You want to win, and I think between the two, I think the guys that are starting are giving you the best chances to win right now.
I also have thought about like what about having him as like a backup shuttler because I do feel like eventually, and Jim's probably not going to do this, but like Ali would like to give Ali some rest. I feel like Paxton could play that position just to find a way to get him in there and give Ali some rest. I want Ali. I mean, Ali, dude, it's true what they say. Ali is playing like he's like 25 years old again. It's crazy. He's keeping up with all these kids that are all around him, man.
Yeah. Some of these videos, the Union do. Like I just saw one with like the one with like the boy band stuff, and like Ali just looks and like everyone mentions the homegrowns, and there's like like Jack McGlynn and Brendan Craig were were basically mentioned. I think in every person's like group, and it was just like he's laughing, just like it's like man, it's like Ali with like Ali is like essentially he is the elder statesman in this group. It's just
He's running daddy daycare, man.
I know it's hilarious and wild. I love him. I love him. And listen, he's the old head. He's the old head. Telling these kids to settle down, and he's gonna show them how it's done on the field.
That's got to be great because like. I feel like if we ever had that conversation with Brendan, like I feel like he would definitely give a lot of props to Ali because Ali helps these kids because he was in their situation. People forget, Ali coming up, dude. He was a highly touted talent, during those youth development teams that they had down there in Florida, and so he knows exactly what some of these kids are going through. So that's a huge advantage for some of these homegrown players. Justin, let me ask you something. How many hot dogs did you eat last night?
I actually didn't have any.
Really?
Yeah, and even
die? What's going on with you, bro?
and you can ask Tim. It was it apparently like I remember I got a beer before the game started, and then I went to go up to the beer garden at halftime because that's usually the easiest line at the half. And I went to the bathroom first, and I was walking towards the bathroom, and I'm like, oh no, am I walking past the bathroom line? No, the hot dog line was almost towards the little like little shop they have near the river end, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, this is just for hot
Was
dogs.
it a concession stand or was it like an actual like snack
It was a
bar?
concession stand, but like it was hilarious. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, and they were running out of. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not even bothering.
Really? Well, it was a good crowd last night. But that was interesting. I don't know how I feel about like the hot dog at a soccer game though. Like baseball's a different story, but like at a soccer game, I don't know. It is just me. What do you think they eat overseas? Like what's like I know they don't really eat or drink much in the seats, but
so it's funny. So I talk regularly with my buddy Luke, who lives in Darmstadt, about a half hour outside of Frankfurt, and he always sends pictures of whenever he's at the games. And the one thing that I love there, some of the sausages, the brats are pretty good, but the thing I love is they usually have these like plastic cups that have handles for the beers.
Oh, I
It's
like that.
like it's honestly, I'm like, that's smart. Like they have a handle on the cup. I'm like, that's a pretty it's a pretty smart idea.
Good idea. Pretty good idea. All right. Well, let's get into the match that we're talking about here, Justin. Philadelphia Union, Atlanta United, Subaru Park on a midweek match. And looking into this match, obviously, this team has been riding red hot coming off of a 6-0 Colorado match. But there's always a little bit something different when you're playing against Atlanta, right? Like you still remember from a couple of years ago. So we go into this match lineup. Jim actually stuck to his guns, and this was the surprise to me. And we could talk about this a little bit. But Jim stuck with his usual suspects at the starting 11. Obviously, Andre Blake, as Justin says, permanent marker, that bad boy. Kai Wagner, Jack Elliott, Glazes and Bies on your back line. He went with Flock at the left, shuttle midfielder with a Brujo at the 6, Ali at the right, Daniel Gazak at the tip of the diamond with Michael Ua and Julian Carranza as your two forwards. And to start off this match, it was a little bit back and forth, and you can tell that Atlanta was definitely trying to use a little bit of a high press. However, though, in the 18th minute, the Union would have their first as the big three got the job done. Gazdak to Ua to Carranza, all in the final third. And Carranza got a nice low shot. Poor Rio Novos, who really got abused on the night, I would say. But that one was able to kind of squirt away from Rios Novos. And then we move into the 24th minute, where Atlanta United bounced back, and the Philadelphia Union not doing a great job of clearing the ball out of their zone. Elliott kind of turns the ball over, and then there was a nice shot. I think it was Araujo gets a nice shot on Andre Blake. Great save, and unfortunately, Andrew Gutman was right there at the right time to get the rebound. And now it's a 1-1 game, and not what we anticipated. Typically, the Union at this point, 24 minutes in the match, they're already up 3-0. So that's a different ball game. However, though, right before halftime, the Union got probably the biggest momentum shift. Michael Ua gets himself the goal in the third minute of injury time. And this was a great shot off of a corner kick. He was left unscathed at the right side of the box, and he hits this ball perfectly on the outside. Direct shot, takes a little bit of a deflection off of Sosa, and it was a 2-1 ball game. Very important heading into halftime. Kills off any momentum Atlanta had it going in the second half. The Union turn up the notch a little bit in the second half. They were absolutely dominating. They get a 67th minute goal by Daniel Gazek. Gazek was at the right place at the right time. You had Brooks Lennon, Rios Novo, and I believe Corey Burke going for this ball. Deflects.
Bam.
Who? I'm sorry.
Bam.
Yeah, and Gazdak perfect, just taps it in. And then you got Nathan Harrell with the goal of the match, 95th minute in. Paxton Aronson with the crossing. Harrell kicks a shot, gets deflected, gets his rebound, buries the bad boy, and he gets his first goal of the season, his first goal of his career as well, as the Philadelphia Union would walk away with another dominating performance, 4-1. But more importantly, Justin, we just clinched our ticket for the Audi MLS Cup playoffs for another stinking season. Sir Justin, your takeaway from last night's match.
This team is really fucking good. That's takeaway number one. You know, the first half was kind of a like at least the first 15 minutes was absolutely both teams testing each other out. It was a lot of give and take, back and forth, kind of which typically happens. You know, the Union get that goal, like I said. You know, it's a nice little build up. All three of the front three get involved, and Carranza with a beautiful shot just inside the post. I mean, that thing had eyes for just inside the post. That was a thing of beauty. And you know, Atlanta responded. Andrew Gutman was absolutely really the only one. Like on all the goal kicks, they were targeting him. And so like Ali quickly started realizing, oh, I got to start shading over. And, you know, it was really Gutman, Almada, and, Arujo. And it just for a little bit it worked. In that moment, Gutman was supposed to be one of the center backs in a back three, and he was all the way up there. And it was like, and listen, it was a good save by Andre. He almost listen, that's not an Andre. I think the defense has to be a little quicker on that, to especially allowing Gutman to kind of sneak in there. But you know, it happens. Back and forth battling, it's kind of even, and then Uwa gets that shot. I'm absolutely convinced that would have been a handball had that not gone in. I mean, it looked like a pretty obvious one, at least, you know, Sosa, you know, I'll talk about him in a little bit, but on the questionable end of that with the outstretched arm that deflects off and goes in, you know, the Daniel Gazdag goal. I mean, Rios Novo goes that ball goes up, and Brooks Lennon and Corey Burke just jumps up. And Rios Novo clobbers everybody, doesn't get the ball. Daniel Gazdag, you know, doing his best, Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins and being a chimney sweep and pushing that ball into an empty net. And then, you know, it was like, all right, the game's over. And, you know, which, you know, and that last, I thought Paxton was offside. I talked about it. I'm like, is Paxton not offside? Cool. You know, and Nate pokes it, and again, it would have been a handball on Sosa. But I think the ref played advantage because Nate got back to the ball so quickly. But yeah, Nate pokes that home for his first career MLS goal, which, you know, I guess all right backs not named Ray Gaddis score in Philadelphia. But no, you walk away with 3 points. You clinch a playoff spot. This team, like I said, this team is firing on all cylinders right now. I think I'm not surprised that I was right on the lineup staying the same. I think especially against Atlanta, it wasn't too shocking. Mikel Uwa did get subbed off in the typical 65th minute, you know, that general range, which I'm okay with because I don't think he's going to get the start on Saturday. And I think, you know, it's good to rest him. I do think, though, that Julian Carranza should have gotten subbed off a little earlier because at some point when it's 3-1, I mean, he was getting the shit kicked out of him. Mm-hmm. Atlanta knew. They knew they were basically out of it. And, man, they threw on Joseph Martinez, which I'm saying this now, and I don't think it's a hot take anymore. Joseph Martinez honestly sucks now. Comparatively, to what
Yeah.
he was. He is a shell. He is not even half. He's barely half the player that he was pre-knee injury. And I know it's been a few years, but now it's just. I don't even think it's physical. I think it's mental. I think you've seen
Yeah.
this season. I think I know there's a lot of dysfunction going on with the higher ups, but what I like. It feels like. I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason why Pineda has benched in the last few months. Like his attitude in his play, he's just not the same player. Cisneros has been the better player up top, and Cisneros did have a few chances in combining with Araujo. Like I think they were playing in Almada, like they were having a decent time at least in the first half. But giant annoying little shit. Dom Dwyer comes on the field and again
Dude,
he
what's
does
his
nothing.
problem?
Well, he's just an asshole. That's his like. I think he's not that bad of a guy off the field, but on the field he is a giant shit stain. Like he's just that big of an ass. Um, but no, like the Union stuck to their game. They frustrated. I will say though, the officiating. There were some plays. I mean, Rios Novo. There were a couple plays where I think Leon got clocked in the head in the box, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, cool. We can forearm shift people in the box. Like the ball wasn't there. Like there were some points they're just going, okay. Like the ref definitely lost control of the game a little bit. I think there were some yellows that were very questionable, and there's some stuff that should have been yellows that weren't. And then you saw that dust up with El Brujo at this point almost fighting some of his own teammates because I think there's a scuffle and like but I think if the ref has better control of the game, I don't think it gets to that point. And I think at that point, Atlanta's just trying to stir up shit to stir up shit, and it is what it is. But that's really like one of the only problems I had with the game. Outside of that, the Union played well. I mean, at this point, you are dominant. You have a
You are good at soccer.
40 goal differential. You have the top goal differential in the league. You have almost 3 times the goals for compared to goals against. I just it is mind blowing how amazing this team is. I like I can't think of a better offensive team in recent memory, like remotely in terms of goals scored.
This is a pretty damn good team. I'll say this in the first half. I felt like because obviously, look, Atlanta's playing desperate soccer, right? They're trying to make the playoffs. They're right below that line, and so I did feel like Atlanta showed up. They brought the intensity. I think a little bit too much they put out there, and I feel like in the second half they just died off. I don't think they had enough of the energy. And the Union just grabbed the momentum away. And it definitely the front line of Atlanta definitely tested the Union back line, and kudos to the Union because I felt like they finished off with the strong match overall. To your point, I mean, yeah, dude, Atlanta's got to make some really tough decisions going into this offseason. Like, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and you have to say it's time to move on from Josef Martinez. You gotta stop thinking that he's going to eventually turn into a shell of what he once was. Like, he's not even that, in my opinion. And it's always tough, especially like he was their first club legend. I mean, dude, day one, he's already like, I don't know if it's going to be, I feel like his records in Atlanta is going to be like the way we look at Seba's, but he was obviously really, really good in his prime and in his heyday. And obviously, they need to find the goalkeeper situation. I mean, dude, Rios Novos is not it, man. And
No,
that Julian Carranza goal, I'll put in the same category as that Revel Morrison goal that he allowed Saturday against DC United. He just doesn't know how to read, and I feel like he just doesn't have good, like, I don't know what you would call it. You're the goalkeeper, like the stretchability, like being able to reach out to the ball. Like, I know there's guys who are shorter that are goalkeepers, but they could still like extend and get those balls. Like, when those balls are too wide, he just doesn't read it good enough, or he just doesn't have enough of that ability to stretch.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's like if it's that. I just think I don't think he reads the game particularly well. Like that goal in particular, I
or
think
even
if he's
Gazdag's
positioned,
goal.
but I think if he's positioned a little bit better, I think he potentially makes the save. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good shot. It was curling away. It got inside the post. It was a decent one. The Gazdag goal absolutely is the one that I absolutely fault him for because
Yeah, man.
like going up, like I think you gotta call off Brooks Lennon.
Yeah.
And even if Corey Burke bumps you, the ref probably calls a foul. But you clattered through Brooks Lennon and Corey Burke, don't really get the ball, and the ref standing there, there's no foul because you went through the other players and didn't get the ball. That's bad goalkeeping. You didn't even get if you punch the ball, I get it, the ball's out, but you missed the ball and the ball drops right to the feet of Daniel Gazdag.
One more point I want to bring up. Don't think that there is again another controversy at the right back position, but it is a little bit ironic that Harriel gets a goal that everyone, the whole team ran over and we're so excited to see him get a goal. But also too, I don't know if you noticed, but Bizo had a bad defensive match again. He's been hasn't been. I will say this: he hasn't really been exposed since getting the starting job back. But I've seen some glimpses of it. How do you feel about the right back position?
Yeah, I think this one is not. Listen, I think that the defensive side of his game still needs a lot of work. It's gotten better this season.
I think it is what it is, though, Justin.
Yeah, but I think at the same time though, you got to look at it and go. The reason that Jim stuck with the same lineup is Atlanta doesn't really have much defense. Like that was the thing. You put in, Olivier even if they have a good offense, when they don't have a good defense, because you can sacrifice that because Glasnes, Elliott, and Kai, and even Leon to an extent, and Brujo can all cover back deep enough. So I think you sacrifice the defensive shortcomings for his ability to get forward. And at that point, at 3-1, you bring in Nate to solidify the defense, and he gets the goal. But and that's why I think Nate may start again on Saturday. But you know what you have with Olivier, and I think even Jim understands that. But I also think Jim understands the offensive capability he brings to the side, and I think that's something that looking at I think you're willing to weigh this pros and cons. I think you're willing to sacrifice it.
Good evening, Michael Thomas. It's good seeing you, brother. Zachary letting us know. I just hope we don't win the supporter shield. It's cursed the cup.
Yeah, the numbers aren't great for supporter shield winners. It is what it is with that. If it happens, great. If not, oh well. But it is what it is. But Mike Thomas, you convinced the wife to go up to Red Bull for the weekend. That's the conversation. Mike,
Why are you calling out Mike, dude? What?
Hey,
He's the man of the house. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, listen, he was the one. He's like, how can I convince the wife to go to Red Bull? And Mike, just hey, you know what? Maybe get a hotel in New York City. Make a week, make a night out of it. Make sure the kids are with the parents. Have a good time.
Mike may be going solo. See, Mike knows I'm in the same boat, man. I try to put my proposal to my girl, like, listen, babe, it's Saturday. We could still go to the beach the next day, right? It's right down. And she's like, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. So I was like, damn. So I tried. And he knows. And Bizo's been fantastic since winning the spot back, though. Supporter Shield guarantees cup at home, and you can't tell me it doesn't benefit us.
I think at the very least, obviously number one in the East guarantees you home to the Eastern Conference Final. And again, it all depends on whether LAFC makes the final. Like, I think that's like it won't matter at this point. You and LAFC are the ones getting the most points. It feels like.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then if LAFC is not in the final, it won't matter.
Yeah, man. It really should be. So we'll see. But let's as we speak, let's move on to Red Bull. I will put away Atlanta. We'll see those guys a little bit later as well. But Justin, the second and final for the regular season matchup against the New York Red Bull, and it's still always fun to talk about them, and we're always blessed, as always. It's Red Bull week, so we are going to bring back on the EPL boys to help us break this down. What's going on, gentlemen? How are we feeling?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Just like Aubameyang in the Premier League, we're back, baby.
He texted me that. He texted me that 5 minutes ago. He was like, "Yo, I'm opening up that line."
100%. We just got done literally scrolling through Fabrizio Romano's Twitter while we're trying to finish our episode. Like, are there any deals now? Are there any deals now? Yeah. Oh my God. What a deadline day. What a time to be alive. And I'm back on my favorite Philadelphia Union podcast.
There you go. There you go.
like Bamba Dieng, you didn't make a last minute decision to back out.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. You have to feel for players who like all day it looks like the rumors are going through, and then at like 2 minutes before they're like, nope, the deal collapses. And I would like it breaks my heart.
Or if you're in Dieng's case, you are in the private hangar and the team before you fly out says, "Oh, we'll offer you a better deal," and you stay.
Trust me that this is as close to the Union and Subaru Park as Matt will get these days.
Yeah, this is it. I'm looking at it in the background, and it's such a wonderful sight. But it is good to be back. Good to see your beautiful faces again. And hi JD. It's been
Justin.
Hi. It's been a while.
It's been 1 hour and 32 minutes since I've seen your face.
Justin, I've definitely been there before, but this is also going to be the beards and versus the mustache. I like this. What you guys got going on here.
Yeah. We overnight the EPL boys became a very pro mustache podcast. So
I gotta trim mine. It's getting a little long, but
I was gonna say Matt looks like he just walked off, and being an extra on Chips.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's a little overgrown. I need to shave it. I'm not used to having an actual mustache. So,
so what's new with the EPL boys? How has the EPL season been treating you guys? What's new?
Oh my God, chaotic to say the least. You have Arsenal. Yeah, they are. That's exactly it right there. The EPL season has already started off with an absolute crazy storylines across the board. Some of the biggest teams in the English Premier League stumbling at the beginning. Arsenal have been perfect, which is absolutely incredible to watch. You have Erling Haaland turning the Premier League into the Bundesliga, and it's like you watch this guy play. And I mean, JD and I have had many conversations about it. It's not fair. It's like playing someone on FIFA who just has a team full of 99 overall players, and it's just not fair. I mean, again,
he's human? Like, have we tested? Is he a cyborg? Is he a cyborg cooked up in the IKEA factory?
Like,
pretty much, yeah.
You got to think to yourself, back to back. He has fewer than 100 touches, and he has 9 goals in the Premier League.
How much are they buying for?
56, I think.
Well, but that was the release clause, which was lower than they expected.
I just love all the people that doubted him. Like, what did you
not
expect?
watch?
Like, what
did
did
you
you
not
expect?
watch him at Salzburg in the Norway, the U20 World Cup, and like
just at Dortmund? What were you expecting him to not do well? Like,
I remember watching him.
Better, but
I remember watching him in Europa League when Salzburg played Napoli, and he literally played with so much confidence in the São Paulo. I was just like, okay, this kid's gonna be something. Yeah, he definitely has.
Yeah,
but I will say though, did we? I love
Mike. IKEA would never design a face that clunky.
It'd be missing a few pieces. But
did either of you have the take the under on the first coach to be fired at only about 4 games in? Man, you gotta feel for Scott Parker.
We both thought. Yeah,
the man is the reverse Sam Allardyce with helping teams get promoted.
Yeah,
but then he just gets shit canned every time when it comes to, this job. Like I feel bad for the man.
Yeah.
We both thought it'd be Brendan Rodgers, but here we
I
I have been screaming from the rooftops for like 3 seasons now that Brendan Rodgers should be fired. He's taken in back-to-back seasons, he spent 95% of the season in the top 4, and it literally took to the final 2 game days of 2 straight seasons to almost collapse out of Europa League qualifications.
So nothing's changed since Liverpool, huh?
And oh my God, I am such a firm believer in fire Brendan Rodgers, but yeah, I don't know what Bournemouth expected. Like, you're going up against a Liverpool team that needed a bounce back victory. Any team,
it was a revenge fuck.
That's
what it was. Like,
not PG.
Am I wrong?
That's the most accurate statement I think I've heard.
Not PG-13, boys and girls. The EPL boys.
I forget. Is this podcast PG-13?
Matt, I don't know what pod you think you're coming into, but we don't take that fucking language around here, sir. All right, you know what?
Awesome. I feel less bad for saying that now.
Before we move off of the EPL, is there any good news, any positivity you can lend to us Evertonians? Anything we can look forward to?
You got James Garner?
Yeah, I was about to say, so massive signing coming through today. James Gardner, for Everton fans who don't know, James Gardner is an academy product of Manchester United, but has spent the last few seasons on loan. He single-handedly was the best midfielder in the championship last year, and was one of the main reasons why Forest got promoted. So he's going to be phenomenal. $15 million. The only thing Everton have to really worry about right there is a buyback clause. It just has not yet been released yet what that price is. If it is high, you might get Man United to trigger it, which means you're going to make money. But if it's low, again, you just don't know. But Everton didn't make that many like big moves. JD, am I missing anything from Everton?
They brought it.
Actually, Neil Maupay
back.
Yeah.
They did sign Neil Maupay, but that wasn't
Neil Maupay, James Garner. I think they weirdly had a good window. I don't think it's going to help them on Saturday, but yeah.
How about Villa? Villa came out of nowhere with so many signings. I'm like, wait, they signed this player. No, wait, now they signed this guy. And I'm like, wait, am I missing the point? Like, Den Donker.
They signed a bunch of vanilla ass players.
But it's but for depth purposes, I'm like, okay, this is low key. Like, it actually helps.
Yeah. Well, and then it's now just going to come down to, can Steven Gerrard put it together, which in times has proven he can't. Steven Gerrard,
like him. Will he pull a the slip moment as a manager? I don't know what manager equivalent that would be, but.
What Brendan Rodgers did 2 straight seasons for Leicester, which was be in a Champions League spot for 95% of the season and then wait until the final 2 games to absolutely blow it. So, I hold no expectation for Aston Villa, unfortunately. They are an average club with above average players with a below average coach.
All right, there you
go.
Well, let's bring it back to the States here, gentlemen. And of course, the EPL Boys run a fantastic Premier League podcast. We'll plug those guys later. Definitely check them out. But these guys are also, respectively, a Union, JD Peters side, and a Red Bull, Matt Cia side, fans. So that's why they're here. Not only because we love them, but because they bring some insight to the game of soccer. So before we get to Matt, but JD, obviously you are the Union side, and we want to get your perspective. How have you been feeling about the club since the last time we spoke, man?
Well, when was the last time we were on? Because I feel fucking great about the Union right now. If I didn't feel good the last time I was on, I get a couple 6-0 wins in there, and then a 4-1 like at home. Like this club, I think it's mostly down to the club mentality with Jim Curtin as the manager, but it's. And I hate the fact that Alexi Lawless was the person to say it. I hate it so much. I hate that man so much. But he said it. He said it really well, where he said the Union do well with bringing a bunch of good players as a fantastic collective, rather than getting a bunch of world-class players and trying to put them on a good team. And I hate that it was Alexi Lawless that said those words, because he's right. Like, Jim Curtin has done so well with his recruitment, where there's so many just low key deals that he just gets done that are, and then with obviously with the academy bringing in the young players, and I am riding such a high being a Union fan right now, and I can't imagine what Matt's feeling.
Oh, well, we didn't even talk about Jeremy Raffagnello, who this
my favorite, the Red Bull don't want to pay the Garber bucks, so the Union are like, oh boy, we still have his rights, we'll take him.
You guys really developed him for us.
That was it literally, because I mean that was a big discussion amongst like the Red Bull 2 supporters. Really getting to know, like, again, those guys, we all overlap each other. Our games usually aren't on the same days, so you usually get some of our crowd at their games. That was a really like big kind of like what the fuck moment, because I think it's just along the lines of confusion of there's a lot of questions, because this is the final year Red Bull 2 will be in USL. Going into next season, Red Bull 2 will become an MLS Next team. And I think maybe he just didn't know where his position might have landed. He might have found himself in no man's land. And I think he was able to find a location with the Philadelphia Union where he is guaranteed playing time. So it's a smart decision for him. You can't fault him for going to the Philadelphia Union, especially when we don't know, because there have been so few teams that have already made that transition from USL to MLS Next. So again, it's a lot of confusion and questions. A lot of our Red Bull 2 guys are kind of fringe players, and it really just leads to we don't know what the future holds for us right now.
Matt, so Red Bull have been looking pretty solid as of late. 4-game unbeaten streak right now at the moment, coming off of a big midweek match win against Montreal in Montreal. What's been working for you guys lately? It's looking good. New signing as well, Elias Manuel, is that his name?
Yeah, they're slowly. We picked up a few guys right before the deadline ourselves. Kind of like, I don't expect any of the new signings we got to be instant impact guys. I think they're going to slowly be integrated into the system. I think Struber is a coach who understands that he has the backing of the majority of the fan base, and it seems like he has the backing of the front office. So it looks like as long as Struber doesn't completely like tank it, he's going to have the job for a while. And I think a lot of his moves are more towards getting things in the correct direction. A lot of people do forget, and honestly, a lot of Red Bull fans forget, we are in the second year of a rebuild, in quotation mark. Struber, emphasized at the beginning of his tenure, this is going to be a long rebuild. It's been a good rebuild when last year we made the playoffs. This year we look like we could comfortably make the playoffs. It seems like things are going in the correct direction. I'm not expecting instant success. I'm not expecting some crazy run. Although if we keep winning on the road, I might never want to see the Red Bull ever play at home. 10 road wins, 30 points, franchise record this year. It is unbelievable, because before this season, we just guaranteed losses. Like if we were on the road, we lost. That was it. That's just.
It's because anytime you play at RBA, you have empty stands. Like when you play on the road, you actually have people in the stands.
We've actually come up with jokes amongst the South Ward where if we just wear the opposing team's jersey, do you think they'll just get confused? Like,
or no, just don't. So NYCFC just played there. Just don't take down any of the NYCFC stuff.
There you go.
Confuse the shit out of everybody.
2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah. Wayne Rooney, absolute legend. Let's just go with that. Absolute legend beating NYCFC at Red Bull Arena.
Yeah,
absolute legend.
Listen,
I watched the end of that game.
Y'all helped us out with Montreal. DC helped with NYCFC. LAFC and Austin lose, and we said LAFC getting literally every chance at 12 minutes of fucking stoppage time, because that makes any sense in the world.
Can we talk about? Hold on, Benteke came on in the last 20. I watched the end of that game, the DC New York City FC game. Benteke looked like a lost dog. And they still won. The fact that DC won that game astounds me.
that doesn't take anything away from his Crystal Palace days. I mean,
I was gonna say,
it's Crystal Palace days.
I had so
glorious.
many people in my ear that Christian Benteke is going to be this great thing for DC United, and I'm sitting here going, so y'all just didn't watch the last 4 years of him in the Premier League, right? My guy looks like
6 years.
like my guy just roams. Like, you ever see Will Ferrell in a semi-pro? He just runs in a circle. He's like, I'm going rover, coach. I'm going rover. That's Christian Benteke in real life.
It's a great way to get your soccer tactics. I like that, man. So no Kamal anymore? Did you guys get rid of him?
No, Kamala is still around. I'm not saying unfortunately. It's the issue with Kamala is he has the ability to be a great striker. The thing that is kind of going through the fan base, or at least it's what I'm feeling, is he's got just a bit of an attitude problem. He does walk around with a little bit of, if it's not working for him early, it might not be working for him at all. Like, he kind of is quickly to put his head down, and he's like, people chirp at him on social media and he chirps right back. It's not a great atmosphere around Kamal right now, but he is without a doubt our best option because Tom Barlow is just faster Christian Benteke. So it's one of those things where he's the best of what we have at this current moment in time. The striker position definitely is the weakest part of the Red Bull lineup. The majority of our goals coming from Lewis Morgan, Luquinhas, and other role players. The fact that the majority of our goals from the forward position are coming from the penalty spot seem to be a little bit on the discouraging side. You want to be in a lineup where you can guarantee your striker at least contributes to the goals and isn't hindering that process. But Kamala's here, and we got him. And yes, Benteke used in FIFA is a cheat code because for some odd reason he is that good.
So are you saying that Kamala is like a Wish.com Joseph Martinez? All the attitude, not really much of the talent.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all the Red Bulls though. They're all full of attitude. What's Caden Clark?
Excuse me. The Red Bull are full of nothing but whatever the hell is in that energy drink. I can't pronounce,
which is questionable ingredients.
I cannot guarantee what those items are because I can't pronounce them, but
and they may be on the periodic table or the radioactive elements, but who knows?
Honestly, if you know the EPL and you know EPL humor, JD and I have said it for years. Jamie Vardy to Red Bull New York literally is a match made in heaven.
I feel like that
it would make so much sense.
But could that kill him? I know it's Red Bull problem, but could that actually kill him? Because then you got unfettered access to it.
Yeah,
I feel like cocaine's also easier to find in the US.
Yeah. So. He doesn't, you don't understand. If you go behind the scenes at Red Bull, they literally just have coolers full of Red Bull. Jamie Vardy might have a heart attack just looking at all the free Red Bull he could have.
He'll have his ice bath will be full of Red Bull, and they'll be like, Jamie, stop drinking the ice bath.
This podcast might make me urinate myself.
Oh God, I fucking love this.
This is what happens when you get EPL boys in Deep by the River.
Just wait till you hear how many Natty Lights I'm going to drink on this podcast.
Yeah. JD's on a mission.
Drinking Natty Lights.
Yeah. No. Oh my God. JD is the sponsor. There are no other sponsors. JD is the sponsor. Yeah.
Is that all you drink, JD?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I literally every year for Halloween, I have a giant full body suit that is a Natty Light can.
What if the bar doesn't have Natty Light? What are you drinking?
I just drink whatever light beer. But
I was thinking, come on. I've been on the live stream that JD's stream from the local soccer bar, and it's whatever beer was.
Were you on that shit? I did that once.
Yeah,
I was at a nice place. It was a soccer bar, but it was a nice wine bar place. There you go.
I think I was one of the only people commenting very funny, and I'm like. And I'm just I think I was just shit talking most of the time. You were laughing. I was just like, all right, he's having a good time.
I was way too drunk at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I was way too drunk, and it was not a place that I should have been drunk at.
Man, I do need to ask here. I'm assuming the answer is no, but have any of the tactics or the philosophy changed with the Red Bull at all since we've seen you guys?
No, still very. If you ask Gerhard Struber, we're still playing sexy football.
That's what he says.
Yeah, he.
But say it in his voice.
Oh my God, we are playing the sexy football. We're playing a football very sexy. And he said that to be fair, he said that like 3 times 6 months ago. Our fan base still just showers in it. Like this
hashtag sexy football, like we have sexy season.
Hashtag sexy football. Yeah, it's the only thing that's different is on occasion with who he has available. We have picked up a few injuries here or there. There have been a few suspensions we've had to deal with either yellow card or red card accumulation, things like that. And we've really swapped between a back 4 and a back 5. That kind of is like the biggest, like, what if, like going into every single game day. That's the one big unknown coming from fans, which is, are we going to set up as a back 5 with attacking wingbacks, or are we going to set up as a back 4 and possibly maybe like Tolkien will maybe sometimes push into the midfield? We did bring back Kyle Duncan, who has been a huge help coming up the right side of our back line. Dylan Nealis was a huge liability before that, just not really being able to push forward. So bringing in a guy like Duncan helps a lot with that. Funny enough, today we just found out we lost Tom Edwards. Stoke will not be giving him back to us on his loan, so we do lose him. But we do pick up Andre Reyes, who is now completely 100% since his injury at the beginning of last season. So really happy to have him back because he's a really big X factor for us. He's really, really good, really fast, and good at tracking the ball. I mean, we'll talk about it with the lineup previews, but the Red Bull have a few holes that they're going to have to fill. And yeah, I'll
Red Bull
that when we get there.
Right? That's how it works.
Oh my God. It's night and day. It's just, we are just, you use the wish.com reference. We are just wish.com Ajax. Like, we lose one guy. Hey, what 16-year-old are we not using in Red Bull 2?
I was going to say, I think that's what, like when I saw Edelman score the goal a few games back, I'm like, who the hell? Like, I'm like, wait, does Julian Edelman have a kid in the New York Red Bull Academy?
Oh my God.
We don't know about, and all these players popping up, and I'm like, and I saw Kyle Duncan. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, he's back in the league, and I'm just going I'm like, man, I know I'm usually the up to date one in MLS on this pod, but I was like, I am hard. I can't keep track of who pops up in Red Bull.
Yeah. Any Red Bull fan who knew Serge Ngana before that game winner against Atlanta, you are lying. You are lying, sir. Because
good
in RB2, but no, you're lying. You are, and so many people walked out of that stadium and be like, "Yeah, I knew that Serge Ngana was going to become really well." I'm sitting here like listening to people like, "Okay, everyone needs to calm down." I just learned how to pronounce his name 3 minutes after he scored the goal. Like, but yeah. That's what it is. I mean, honestly, we do have depth at certain positions, which is nice for the first time in a very long time. We have depth. We have a really big next man up mentality. So that's what we're going to need on Saturday, God willing.
Justin, I want to ask you, obviously we're playing at a really high form, right? Going up to Red Bull, we always know it's tough, and it's always tough playing against them. How do you think this team will respond to what the Red Bull bring on this upcoming Saturday?
If you had said this to me around the first matchup, I would have said, I'm not sure this is very tough, because obviously given the run of form, we were drawing a lot of games. We were still playing Route 1 soccer and hucking the ball up and praying and not having much possession. Well, since that time, the Union have undergone essentially a renaissance, and the biggest change that the Union have made is the fact that they actually possess the ball now. They are a team that has a hybrid, they still have a press. They still will go out and absolutely hound the shit out of you, selectively, when you have the ball in your own end. But, they're not just hooking the ball up. They're trying to build from the back. They are finding the runners up the wings. Daniel Gazdag is a man possessed right now, popping up in the right moments. That front three, again, at that moment, the front three had not really had much chemistry. Mikel Uwa had the visa issues. He had the injury. He was working his way back. It is a completely different team. You are finally seeing the fruits of the labor of the money you spent to bring in Mikel Uwa. You can thank, just like Matt and Red Bull can thank Inter Miami for Lewis Morgan, we can thank them for Julian Carranza and that loan deal for a $500,000 buy option, which was pretty easy to trigger considering his form. You have now 3 double-digit goal scorers. Daniel Gazdag is now the Legion's all-time single-season goal record holder. Julian Carranza now is at 14 goals. Mikel Uwa is at 10. And, oh, yeah, you forget about Corey Burke. Corey Burke's sitting on 7 right now as a super sub. The Union, you talk about next man up, the Union, while they stick with the similar roster, they also have that next man up because, hey, Sergio Santos went out the door. And you know what Corey Burke said? All right, I guess I got to find some way to keep consistent minutes. And at this point, who was the first sub off the bench? Corey Burke. Who was the person, if they need to rotate, one person comes in? Corey Burke. And Olivier Mbaizo has worked his way back after, listen, there was a reason he got benched. He was not well defensively. He still isn't that great defensively. But you look at all the times he's been, he's been in, the offensive, abilities have outweighed the defensive struggle. And this team has, they've bought in. They are all on the same page. They are a dangerous team. They are a hungry team. And I've said this, the fact that as a defensively sound team, they now have an offense that is absolutely relentless. And I think probably at this point, arguably the best front 3 in the league right now. I think no matter where they're playing, you look at most teams and you got a lot to plan for. And I mean, look, Atlanta tried to sit back and essentially bunker and counter, and it worked for like 20 or 25 minutes. Then Julian Carranza gets that goal in the 18th minute. Mikel Uwa gets that, and then the second half, the barn doors get burst open, and this team is riding on the front foot. And at this point, the difference between this, the team now and this team back when we played Red Bull the first time, when they had the opportunity to step on a team's throat and put the game out of reach, they do it now. They control the game. They know how to. Jim is actually making subs at the right time. So this team is getting hot at the right time, unlike LAFC, who are getting extremely cold at the wrong time. It is amazing to see, and this is a game going up to Red Bull where I'm like, I actually feel pretty good about this game. One, considering the form we're in, and 2, considering the home form that Red Bull have been in statistically all season.
It should be fun, man. Let's look at these. Potential lineups, guys. And Matt, let's start off with the Red Bull starting 11 for the New York Red Bull.
All right, so something that happened over the past week or so, during the game against Inter Miami, Kyle Duncan picked up a red card, and John Tolkien picked up a yellow, which was his 5th, and he got a suspension. So both of those guys missed the midweek game against Montreal. I expect both of them to be back. I expect the Red Bull to play a back 5. I expect a back line of Nielis Long, who also did not make the trip for rest. So I expect him back in the starting lineup, as well as Andre Reyes. That is our strongest back line. I expect that. Caceres Jr. did pick up a yellow in the game in Montreal, and a tackle. He didn't even touch the player, but the player fell and he got a yellow, and that was his 5th. So he will be out for Philly, which is a big loss because he has been such an anchor in our midfield. I expect Drew Yearwood and Edelman. I expect probably a midfield of, I probably expect Edelman and Yearwood to kind of be the holding midfielders in that position. And then I expect most likely a front 3 of Luquinhas, Kamala, and Lewis Morgan to finish it up. So I guess 5-2-3, I guess. Yeah, and then of course Carlos Coronel, who's been goddamn my Lord and Savior these past few seasons.
I wonder where you learned that from.
But yeah, no, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the Red Bull to sit back. The Red Bull are, this season especially known for taking advantage of having no possession of the ball. I think they're in the bottom 5% of the league in possession and still yet find themselves in 5th place out of every team in the MLS. So they know what to do when they don't have the ball. And just as you guys said, Philadelphia Union have been doing a little bit more with the ball recently, which might be what Gerhard Struber might set his team up to do. So you could be looking at a Red Bull side who could be sitting back extremely defensively and trying everything in their power to capitalize on those counterattacks.
Should be fun.
So you're gonna have like 9 goalies. Is that how it's gonna be? Everyone's gonna be. It's being parked. It's gonna be a Mourinho, but to the nth degree level.
Overall, I expect, so the one nice thing the Red Bull do have, especially at the center back position, is they have aerial strength. I know that they're in the top 10% in the MLS when it comes to aerial clearances. Nealis, Long, and Reyes are both extremely tall and strong in stature and have done an extremely good job this year when people try to get the ball in through aerially. And then you also have the combination of having Yearwood, Caceres, or Edelman, who are those kind of, that rock right in front of them that can kind of stop things before they come in through the midfield. Our goal not our goal differential, but our defensive success hasn't been as good as the Union has been this year. But we are still one of the better teams when it comes to not giving up goals. And it has to do with the way these systems are in place. We are set up your classic style of Antonio Conte or like Jose Mourinho, where we will take advantage of the fact that we know our back five does do a very good job. And we're going to just do everything in our power to just capitalize on when we can on a counterattack. And if it doesn't work, then unfortunately with the Red Bull, that's the problem, is there is no plan B.
Sounds like us. All right, JD, I want to hear your starting 11 for the Philadelphia Union. And Justin, tell me if you agree or disagree with JD.
Well, see, that's a funny question because our starting 11 picks itself. I don't. There's maybe one or two, possible, things, but obviously Andre Blake, obviously Kai Wagner, Jacob Glesnes and Jack Elliott, and then Mbaizo and Harriel. That's I'm fine with Mbaizo. I know he has his faults, but at the same time, he can push forward really well, and I think Harriel in the same way. So I honestly, every match day, if I see either name, I'm happy. And then in the midfield, obviously Martinez locking it down in front of the center backs. Leon Flock has played himself into that position since he was signed. I loved when Jim Curtin, when he was first signed, he said Leon Flock has played himself into the starting 11 and he has not looked back. And I love it. Ali Bedoya. I love Alejandro Bedoya. He's been a great captain and I'm sure he will start. I would like to see McGlynn start more. But Bedoya, I think, will start this game. And then obviously Gazdag and obviously, Ua and Carranza up top. I just, this lineup picks itself.
Usual 11. We like it.
Yeah.
Justin, what do you think?
I think I have a few differences. In that, as I always say in this pod, you write it down with a permanent marker. Andre Blake, his 200th career, start for this team, which, you talk about that 2014 draft, and I remember wanting Steve Birnbaum and still can't. And at the time, and that, they traded up above DC and drafted
200
a goalie.
games later,
another goalie, and it's like, hey, it's been a match made in heaven since. Obviously, Kai Wagner starts, Glesnes and Elliott. I think we will see Nate. Jim did mention that Olivier had a little bit of tightness towards the end of the game before he was subbed out, and I think it was kind of precautionary. I also did kind of think that Nate would start against Red Bull just because he is the better defensive winger, and I think especially Lewis Morgan, Lewis Morgan likes to switch wings, and I trust Kai Wagner, but between Bizo and Nate, if Morgan is on that side, Nate absolutely relishes those one-on-one battles, and he does a very good job on those. So I trust him in that. Brujo at the 6 is always an obvious, and he's built for these games, and the Brujo Yearwood matchup is one that I will love because they are both shit talkers and shit starters.
Yellow card city, yeah.
And yeah, it is yellow card city. So who gets the yellow card first, and how many fouls is going to be?
Both of them get it first. Same time.
the only way the ref, I don't know if the ref's been announced yet for this game, but the only way the ref kind of really gets control of this game early is when you take two players like that, you walk up to them pre-game, and you just say right off the bat, I am calling everything. You just
give them the yellow cards right off the bat, just before the game starts.
But you let them know that at no point is bullshit. Like the ref, just not letting bullshit happen. Just come right in and just be like, hey, you know what? Both of you. Each one of you gets an eye, and the second one of you steps out of place, I will be so quick to pull out that card. I don't care what minute it's in.
All right. Well, let's get to some predictions here. Matt, give us your final score. And of course, as always, this is a Union podcast. So give us a key for the Union to beat your Red Bull.
Absolutely. Number one. Well, first of all, what did I guessed 1-1 last time, and it was correct. So,
ooh, that's right.
That's a cop out.
Yeah, but you didn't guess that Nealis red card, did you?
No.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there, and you're texting me. Wait, why did Nealis get the red card? No one's telling me anything.
Yeah, because I was fucking there. Like I couldn't see the replays.
To be fair, I was in a bar, and out of nowhere, the announcers are just saying random things, and then 10 seconds later, and the ref shows Nealis a red card, and everyone in the bar is just like,
correctly though.
What? No, I'm just kidding. I have come to terms that it was a red card. Okay, JD, you win. So I'll start off with how you beat the Red Bull. How you beat the Red Bull is you let them hold the ball. You let them have possession. You let them work themselves out of their shell. If the Red Bull find a way to get comfortable, yes, you have Luquinhas, and yes, you have Lewis Morgan, who can both find a pass very, very well. Edelman is turning into something really, really special at such a young age, and Yearwood has the ability to be very good box to box, and he has the ability to do a nice pass here or there. Containing Tolkien and Duncan to not push forward. If you can keep those guys having to sit back, that takes a huge part away from what is a part of the Red Bull game plan. As well, letting the Red Bull have the ball. You let them have the ball, they're not one of those teams that can slowly break you down. They are a very much counter-attacking 1-2 quick passes on the break team. You let them have the ball, they're going to have a bad time. That's really what it comes down to. So going into this game, it's exactly as you guys said. These two teams bring out the best and the worst out of each other. This never disappoints. This is very much prime, going back and forth back in like the 2000s, like Arsenal, Manchester United. This game is going to be good. It's just going to be. You're going to have the biggest names at each other's throats all the time. It's going to happen. On that note as well, the Philadelphia Union are the hottest team in the MLS, and it's not even close. The game ends 2-2. And the reason why I say that is because certain people for the Red Bull are starting to peak, but at the exact same time, you cannot contain this Philadelphia Union lineup at the moment. Everyone is peaking at the exact same time. There will be goals, there will be controversy, but for some odd reason, I feel confident in saying that I think 2-2 is a very, very, very obtainable final score.
You heard Matt, 2-2. All right, JD, let's get a final score and
7-0 because fuck Matt.
Key for the Union.
Let me make an analogy here. The Union are Marcus Alonso, and the Red Bull are whoever's in the passenger seat.
Oh my God, he's not making this joke.
You don't get that one. Google it.
This is me leaving this episode.
And he's out.
Yeah.
Listen, that's probably not the most controversial thing that's ever been said on this pod.
Oh my god.
That just adds to the list.
I don't even think that's controversial. It's just a fact. But yeah, no. The Union, I in all seriousness, I think the Union are in such great form with everyone just operating at such a high level that where like the Red Bull, are in good form, but they're not annihilating teams like the Union are. And I think that's where like what Jim Curtin said too, like they don't step off the gas like these players for the Union. They score one, they score two, they don't stop. And I love this about these players, like the pressing. I'm actually really excited for this game. I'm so mad I'm not going to be there. Matt offered to get me there, and unfortunately, I'm dog sitting. I'm actually dog sitting this weekend, so I cannot. Dog. Yeah, well, it's my parents' dog, and it's a 14-year-old Yorkie poo, and it needs attention, and I need to take care of it. But otherwise, I would be at Red Bull Arena, and I am sad I'm going to miss this one, but I will be watching it on TV, and I will be very happy when the Union win 3-0. And I might be being I'm being conservative. I'm being conservative.
Okay, Justin, prediction, key.
Wow. I mean, I wish I had JD's confidence. I mean, I am confident, but man, that is some next level confidence. Matt, to answer your question about the referee,
there's gonna be more Union fans than Red Bull fans at Red Bull Arena. Are you kidding me? That's normal.
We got Timothy Ford for Saturday's matchup.
Okay.
And,
I don't.
Kevin Stott on VAR, so that's a fun.
Oh, okay. So get ready for fun, boys and girls. The circus is in town. So
Harrison, New Jersey, baby.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was about to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a wild one. Listen, I think, first of all, Matt, it is a bold prediction that the Union would give up 2 goals. I mean, the LAFC game? Is it the last time they've given up more than 1 goal in a game?
Did we go by Cincy?
Oh, sorry. 3 in the last 4 months.
I got lucky.
So that was a no. I think overall, I mean, typically, I would go for a 1-1 draw. That would be my safe bet. But the way that this team is playing, I do think, though, one of the big changes I mentioned on the pod on Tuesday, I think Corey Burke comes in to start. I think Corey Burke is built for these kind of games. I love him as a super sub, but I also think he is one of those guys that can handle, the Andres Reyes and the Aaron Long, that kind of physicality. I mean, he is a MLS vet for a reason. He's been a changed man over these past few months, and I will fully admit, I was eating my words, and that he has absolutely become a vital player to this team. And I typically don't do this for the Red Bull way. I will be predicting a 2-1 Union win. I do think it is going to be one of those games that is going to be a tough one. There's going to be a ton of cards, maybe one, maybe 2 fracases, some brouhahas, if you will. Little extracurricular activities.
Couple skins that gets under.
Hopefully a capo doesn't jump onto the field and break it up.
I have been told on numerous occasions where I am allowed to go and where I am not allowed to go. The field is not one of those places I'm allowed to go.
God forbid Nealis gets another red card.
Oh, no. If Nealis gets another red card, I'm going to run on the field, but it's not to attack a Union player, okay?
Red Bull fan attacks Red Bull player.
Oh,
you're right.
The funniest thing by far, earlier this season we played against NYCFC, and what always happens is we always do a t-shirt giveaway that day, a red t-shirt. So if there's anyone there, you could always have everyone in red. There was a picture of there was the video of an NYCFC player getting the ball, and on national TV you can only see a red t-shirt hit the player. So the internet broke. The internet was like, Red Bull fan throws item at NYCFC player.
Oh, it's a T-shirt. Oh my god!
Surprised they didn't play in Philadelphia.
Someone got it at a higher angle, and it was actually 3 NYCFC fans throwing their shirts at the NYCFC player.
There you go. There you go.
Hey,
Don't
context.
They're different Jersey.
It's not out of the realm of possibility where a fan of their own team would attack their own player. So
hey, who knows? But honestly, I think the one thing that will up the Union, break down the North Jersey energy drinks is and I think Matt's right. I think the Union, despite having all the possession lately, they are capable of making teams break them down, and I think that's an easier said than done task. The Union, the one thing, despite their more possession laden games lately, the one thing they still can do, they can still turn up the field very quickly. They have the players to break up the field and break up and create those counterattacks and create odd man challenges. And if John Tolkien and Kyle Duncan are getting up the field, you better hope that they are back in time, because if that ball is turned over in the opposing half, you bet your ass that Daniel Gazdag or Leon Flock or Alejandro Bedoya will be charging down the middle and having Julian Carranza and Mikael Ua or Corey Burke making runs and stretching this defense. And that is something I know Gerhard Struber is probably telling his entire defensive line is, do not get caught out of possession. Do not get caught high up the field. If you have the, make the smart passes, keep it simple. And I'm sure Jim Curtin is saying, we know how this team operates. We know we're playing a little bit differently. You just gotta, you gotta keep it simple and do what you've been doing. And we'll see. I mean, these teams play similar styles. They know how each other works out. It's going to be a wild one. I'm excited because for the first time in 6 years, I am finally coming back to a game at RBA. I am excited to be making the trip up. I have been in constant communication with Matt this whole week of when I will be up there, where he'll be, so I am fully prepared to enjoy some solid times this Labor Day weekend.
Should be a lot of fun, man, and I hope everyone has a good time, especially you, Matt, will also be there in attendance as well. Guys, before we sign off, JD and Matt, where can people find the great work of the EPL Boys?
Well, first and foremost, thank you guys again for always having us and being the best hosts on earth. You guys are phenomenal, and we love you guys to death, no matter what team you root for. You can find the EPL Boys at the EPL Boys, exactly as it's spelled, on Instagram. That's where we are consistently across the board social media wise. And then we are available at the EPL Boys on all streaming platforms. To our listeners who we sent over today, we gave a big shout out to you guys and told everyone, because usually what happens is when the Union and the Red Bull play, we make it a big deal on our podcast. Not this time. We told them, no, you want JD and I going at each other? You got to go to their show to see it.
Our episode was already chock full of transfer deadline deals. I told Matt, like, on the podcast, there's just like, we're about to record another thing. Like,
JD and I are putting in a full day, but we
appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you guys. No, thank you so much again for having us. We love you guys so much. You guys are absolutely awesome, even to a little old Red Bull fan like me. So I cannot wait. And you guys, I'll make sure Justin and I will grab many pictures so we can share them amongst the social medias.
Please.
So
we need a Matt and Justin pic so everyone can see.
This big ball head will go all around the Twitter sphere and the Instagram.
Someone come dog sit for me so I can go to this game, because that is the only thing stopping me from going to this game.
All right. So if you can watch JD's dog, hit us up at the EPL Boys.
And subscribe while you're there.
Or at Dupe by the River, and we will forward the information.
It's real easy.
You know, all over Twitter right now is free Christian Pulisic. All over social media. No, we're officially
free JD.
Yeah, we are officially hashtag free JD Peters. Okay, officially.
Oh, yeah. I hope that goes. I hope that goes viral.
Yes, save this man. He needs it.
Save this man.
I need to go to an empty Red Bull arena to watch the Union slap the Red Bulls.
Yes, it's a win. It's a win for both of us. JD gets to go to a game, and that's one more seat filled in my stadium.
There you go.
That is.
There you go.
That's true.
Awesome stuff. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Dupe by the River. Big thank you to the EPL Boys, and a thank you to you guys for listening on in. Make sure if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to watch all of your live viewings of Dupe by the River. And, of course, you can find us wherever you stream podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. You can find us under Dupe by the River podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is JD Peters. That is Matt Sia. That is Justin Sherman, Salt March Friedberg. Of course, I'm your boy, El Parcero Philly. We're telling you guys to dupe on. Beat the Red Bull.